studio. I have another journal flip through to share with you. This one I'm calling it a gentleman's journal. It's kind of based on journalism or writing or newspaper business. I don't know why that was what popped in my head when I made this one, but it was. This one is 8.5 by 5 3/4, and it is about 1.25 inches wide. It has 3 signatures in it. It's hardbound with the sewn-in binding, with a faux leather cover on the front and back. And then I had this old book that had this really cool dust jacket on it that was this guy, and I thought that would be perfect for the front of the journal. The journal closure is a piece of leather. It is glued underneath this, and it goes all the way around the back, and it is attached to a little pencil that slides in the slot. The pencil has a little bulb pen. It's a vintage pencil, and then a little pen nib and a key. And to close the book, it simply sticks in there. So, okay. And this is primarily a writing journal also. It's not going to be a, it does have a few little things in it, but it's primarily meant as a writing journal. Excuse me, let me get a drink of water. Sorry about that. Our oak trees are bloomed out, and all those little hairy yellow pollen tassels and everything here is like yellow, and it is allergy season. So anyway, the cover, you can just see, very simple, kind of streamlined. The inside is covered with vintage dictionary pages, and it's got sort of a library pocket tag. There's a tag made with old dictionary pages, and it's been stamped. Could use the white gel pen on the back of that. It's got handwritten, these are vintage, really old handwritten papers. Some stamping there. Can make almost like a little list there. Vintage penmanship cover of a book there. For these, I've been debating whether I should go back and put some clear gesso so they would make it more writable. So I may go back and do that on the pages that just have any kind of text on them. You know, you could, if you went over this with a black pen or something like that, it is going to show up. Or you may want to just glue a piece of paper over it, you know, whatever. Little image of a typewriter. This is one of those book, you know, the front page of the book. I can't remember what the flyleaf, maybe that's what it's called. That's what this is from a vintage book. Put a piece of an old watch there. This is a vintage portrait of a young man. His name is Claude Fulton from 1912, and he just looked like he would be a dapper news reporter to me. So bound that in with some fabric, and on the back there's a little pocket with just a blank dyed tag in there. Some scrapbook paper. Now on the backs of some of the paper that were white, I either used coffee or paint to make a writing surface. This is some gray chalk paint, and you could use either a black or a white, like a gel pen or something on there. And then, like I said, I didn't know if I should obscure these a little bit with gesso. I may end up going back and doing that. It doesn't take very long. So this is a vintage shorthand lesson. Here I've done it with coffee and added a little vintage fan and a little title stamp there. Just some scrapbook paper, some more of the shorthand lesson, a little bit of what would look like an ad or something in a magazine or a newspaper. It's got, you know, thing about typography on it. And that is the center of the signature there. More coffee and stamping. More of the painted paper. This is another young man. His name is Park Ross from 1912, and here he is. Maybe they're colleagues in the newspaper business. I don't know. A fun little stamp. And I think some of these images, some of these little things like this and the typewriters, those came from a kit that I had used on a previous journal. These were leftovers, and I think that was from Tina at Shabbydabbydoodah. So I will look and try to track down what kit that was and link that below in case you're interested. But it had a lot of clocks and little sort of stamp looking things and typewriters, and it was more just a fussy cut kit. So I'll look that up for you. More of the same papers in here. A vintage cigar band on that little card there. Some more paint. Another typewriter from Tina. This is just a little cutout from a magazine that says photographs. More paint. This is a vintage reader, but I just like the shoe shine boy on there. The dapper gentleman. And this is an envelope. It's been stamped, and inside it has just a little typewriter key paper fold out that you can write on, and that just slides back in there. Easier said than done. Some burlap printed paper with stamping, more stamping and journaling spots with a clock, more scrapbook paper. Here's a pocket with a journaling spot, just some folded tea-dyed paper. This has a little pocket in it with just a tea-dyed, or this is tea, this is coffee. Coffee-dyed tag. Then we have another little pocket here, more coffee-dyed paper, and a little tag in there with some stamping. This is from a magazine. It was headlines for the Civil War. I think it was the Civil War. Where's the date? I can't see the date. I'm pretty sure it was Civil War. Anyway, more dyed paper in this pocket, and this is from an old writing book on Spencerian handwriting, a lesson from there, just for, stuck in for journaling. Let's see, more of the same. This is that envelope back there. This is the other side of it, and I just put some paper over it and put this little seal from Tina on there, and I just tucked a little telephone covered envelope in there that you can put something in. So, oh, and I just pulled that undone. I'll leave that out to glue it. Book page on long vowel sounds, short vowel sounds. More painting, more paper. It's a vintage stamp from Denmark, and just I stamped that upside down, the cancellation. That's funny. A little cutout from a magazine. Another one of those little things from Tina. More stamps. Song. This is, music. And I like this, even though I know it's a hymn, but tell me the old story. Because I thought, a writer is telling a story. So this is part of an old bank envelope, and inside it does have a big tag in it. It's been stamped. Another one of the little typewriters. This has a little fold out. You can journal here, and then it's got a little pocket with a dyed blank tag. Some more vintage stamps. Another one of those little things from Tina, and some stamping. More coffee and stamping. More painting. This has the little telephone paper note, and another little, this is like an old newspaper print envelope that you can tuck something in. Just more blank paper. Another pocket. This has the coffee and the watch. This is another vintage photo of a gentleman. Maybe he's the editor. He looks old enough to be the editor, doesn't he? maybe he's the editor of our paper. Typewriter key paper. This is just a fold out where you can journal. Some tissue that I've doubled, tissue paper that's printed like a newspaper that I've done several layers glued together to make it sturdy that you could write on it. Another photo of a vintage gentleman. I don't think he had, no, he didn't have a name or date on the back. Some of these did. And I just thought those were cool. More journaling spots. Some offcuts of some of the papers that I just folded and put in there. With, you can journal on that. Here's these were in that packet of Tina's too, I believe, these two pictures here, and I've just clipped them to a piece of dyed paper that you could journal on the backs of them if you wanted to use them for journaling cards. More of the paint, more stamping and the image from Tina. This is just a little flip that you can flip up and journal here for some hidden journaling, some stamping. This is a little tag in here, and this flips out and you can write in here. Another piece, the other side of that envelope, and in here is a little thing that you can open up and tuck some things in there. And I may tuck some more in this journal. I just kind of finished it and put it aside because I'm working on two at the same time. And that's the end. The only thing I have left to do, besides repair this since I broke it, is to make the dashboard to go in here. And it's probably just going to be covered in dictionary pages. And so, in the back is just blank. And so that is my, what I'm calling my gentleman's journal. And because of this pandemic and everything that's going on, I'm not listing things to ship. And it's mostly not that I'm afraid to ship things. It's not that. It's the fact that when I make these books, they're not always the same. I don't always have the correct packing supplies or boxes, which requires me to make a trip out for those. And then getting to the post office. And it's more about exposure on my part because I'm high risk. So just for safety reasons, I thought I'll go ahead and continue making throughout all this. I'll build up an inventory. I'll go ahead and film the flip throughs, which will be done. I'll go ahead and get everything photographed. I can actually go ahead and get it listed, but not load it up as a listing. And that way, when things calm down and are, you know, a little more peaceful and a little more easy for me to be able to get out and do things, then I will start selling again. But anyway, I just hope you maybe got some inspiration or some ideas to make your own journal. I'd love to see if you get any ideas from this and make anything. I'd love to see that. And I wanted to thank you for joining me, and I will see you around the studio.